Good afternoon, everybody. This is Chris Scully from Drive, and today I have with me Matt Winslow and our guests, Brian Knott and Sarah Rogers from Allen's Automotive in Vermont. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I've known you guys since about 2018, I think, right? When you first pretty much when you first bought the shop. And let's have you give our audience a little bit of your history in the business and how you came to buy the shop, and then we'll kind of go from there.
I came from an Audi dealership, spent most of my career there. It was about 20, would have been 21 years the year we bought the shop. Sarah spent about 5 years in a Ford dealership, and the opportunity popped up. It was friends of the family, called my parents or ran into my parents somewhere and said, we're going to sell, we're going to retire, move to Florida. You think you guys would be interested in the shop? And I was like, don't want to own, I know that job. I don't know if I want to own it. And I took about 2 weeks of driving, and Sarah and I would talk, and she was like, you know what, let's just try it. So I was like, I called them up. It finally hit me. I was like, you've been driving your truck the same direction for 20 years. If anything's going to change, you got to change it. So I called them up. And in 2017, we went in on the long weekend, redid as much as we could do, and we were open January 2nd for business. And we made it through the first year. Sarah and I doubled the numbers, and we were, wow, this is great. It's fantastic. Neither one of us had been business owners before. Knew the business, worked the business, but didn't really know to be business owners. Didn't understand how to make a profit, because we got all done that first year. We're like, oh man, this is great. We doubled the numbers, but we were still broke for the most part.
We're like, oh.
Yeah, and then Drive called one day, and I don't know, typically when the telemarketers call, it's kind of like, I ain't got time for you, and I hang up. This one time, I forget the fella's name. He was talking some language that I understood from being in a semi-management position at the dealership. One of my good friends was a service manager for a long time there. And I used to get a lot of inside scoop after he'd left, especially, and just some of the stuff he was saying, and it made sense. So we listened in. We did the initial inspection, or efficiency inspection, I think, or whatever the
shop business analysis.
The business analysis, and then we met with them on an evening over the phone. And I tell you, it wasn't an easy decision, because financially we weren't in a great spot, only into it a year, but we bit the bullet, and
glad we did.
Here we are 4 years later, buying a second shop.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about your journey. Training is something that you're real strong in. You're really an advocate of it. Talk about that a little bit, as far as how it relates to you as shop owners as well as to your team.
For me, it was always working in a dealership. I always had a place to turn to, and as foreman, even I'd sign myself up for classes and shipped off. I always had some sort of training or some place to turn as a tech or a foreman to educate, whether it was the new product coming out, or whether it was the quarterly foreman's meetings, managers meetings, whatever. And when we got here, like I said before, we knew how to run a shop. We were comfortable with that, but nobody really, go to training to be a business owner, especially when, out of the blue, you buy one. So it kind of evolved from, a little bit of hands-on learning and doing, but I don't know. I think I lost track of where the question was.
That's all right. No, that's all right. We're talking about, just training and your history with it, and
all right, so then that's when Drive come in with the training, and that was exciting to me. I was like, well, finally somebody that can train us on what profit margins to maintain, what what parts matrices do we use, and to have a national network of fellow shop owners, it was just huge. I mean, that's really that's where it stems up personally. And then we always have to push training with the techs. The cars change too quick. They just change fast, and we're going to slide behind the times if we don't start now.
Yeah, that's very true.
The electric vehicles.
For a second, I learned something from this. One, it's all Sarah's fault. And two, thank you, Sarah, for getting you guys both in this so we could hang out with you today. You're the best. What are your thoughts on this? You guys started the shop. You figured you'd get rich in a year and retire, right? And it turned out it was a little bit more challenging than you thought, or, I mean, how hard can it be? You just fix cars and people give you cash, right? That's all you have to do, or?
Yeah, well, it was huge. So first of all, I want to say I'm glad that Brian got that phone call from Management Success at the time, because I am like quick to be like, it's another sales pitch, so I'm quick to screen those. So I'm thankful that he got that. We realized really fast, like I was the front of the business, so I've done service writing for many years, but and then I was doing the bookkeeping, and I've done accounting, so it was all familiar to me. But I realized really quickly after becoming part of Drive that there was so much we thought we knew and we truly did not know at all. So it's been a very fun, actually, adventure. Stressful at times, of course, but we're doing it again. What does that say?
It's almost a game this time. I don't know if that's a proper word to use, but
it's absolutely that's very appropriate. Yeah, that's great.
We're just we're very confident. It's almost a ditto. It's exact same situation, with the only difference being that this shop now is fully closed down, and we took over one that was just putting along. But that had to work for us that way because we needed the income right away. But, yeah, so I mean, this time it's kind of like, I don't know, we're excited to get up there and gut the office and redo it and clean it all up and set it up efficiently and start training people.
Yeah, that's great. Now, right before we came on, we were chatting, and because I've known you guys since you first started with us, and I asked you, is this something that you ever would have envisioned when you first started? And what was your answer?
Yeah. No, it wasn't. Didn't think that. Not sure. I thought we'd be where we're at in 4 or 5 years, and that's for sure. When we bought the place, I said, I'm giving it 10. I'm 40, and at 50, I'm out one way or another. Well, I sell it, quit. I don't know what, just out. And Drive was like, well,
10.
Let's get you out. Yeah, I think Bill or one of them said 10. We'll get you out 2. And I'm like, now we're talking.
And here you are 4 years later. So let's talk a little bit about the journey. How have things changed for you guys with your shop? How's it affected your personal life? I know I just asked you 3 questions in a row, but.
With the shop, obviously it all came down to getting the right people in and getting it so it could run without us being here every minute. And if it weren't for that element right there, the second shop probably wouldn't be realistic, because we don't have to necessarily be at this shop for it to go around. And as far as that affecting us personally, all for the same reasons. Like we went on a 2-week motorcycle trip last year, and made matter of fact, had one of the best weeks that we'd ever had while we were gone. I mean, we're
getting bored.
It was great.
So that's kind of what inspired us to do this next one. It's like, okay, we roll in here some days 11, 12 o'clock, and don't really have a lot of tasks to do. Brian mostly likes to ruffle up the shop. And so I think they probably will definitely appreciate our not being here.
Totally understood. You're getting to the you're getting to the point where you're dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
what was a typical day like when you first bought the shop versus what you just described?
Day roll in at 7:30, go home at 7:38.
It's so different.
And I remember
wrenches and help her, if the phone would ring more than 2 or 3 times, run and grab a phone while I'm trying to work on a car or deal with a technician. And it was, the whole different feeling, whole different atmosphere.
That's awesome. And now, if I recall correctly, you guys just finished the shop policy apprenticeship and put a whole bunch of things in writing and policies for your shop. What was that like?
It was so much fun.
Sarah loves that.
I'm being honest.
That was all her.
Yes. I will accept credit for that.
You ever seen me type? You know how long it take me to type a policy?
Oh, I'm like, give me that.
We'd be sitting there discussing a policy, and she'd go, all right, what do you think? And I'd rattle off something. And then she'd try to rewrite it while she was in the middle of typing. I'm like, no, you just got to get down what I say because I'll forget. And then it sounded good. Now I can't redo it. And type it down. So
you also wrote a lot of policies for your personal lives, just, so he'd do what you need him to do and all that stuff. Is that how it works?
I should. But he doesn't even follow the shop policies. So I know how that would go. Just a waste of time.
Being the owner, you get to tell everybody else what to do, right?
Yeah.
Was that my dad used to say, do as I say, not as I do?
She does have a policy she makes me stick to, and that's I have to make my side of the bed when I get up.
There you go.
Go ask your mother, but I don't know. It's
No, I really enjoyed it. I can say that I truly enjoy writing policies now. Before it was such a struggle, and now it's like I just wrote another one yesterday, and it just flows, and I can write them quicker. It was a very good. I almost wish that it was something we had done long before we did, but
it actually just worked out. Even though it wouldn't have hurt to do it sooner, the timing couldn't have been better because with having all these policies not only written and in place, we're down with, we're weeks away from opening another shop that's an hour away. I mean, the timing was, it's almost like it was meant to happen.
Yeah, that's great.
Did you guys have any trouble getting your people to kind of follow those policies? How did you guys implement them?
Some of them we still have to review almost weekly.
It's not like
drilling.
Total skipping out on the policies, but there's, one out of 10 cars doesn't get a QC. Well, why didn't it get a QC? It's been over 1,000 miles in 30 days, so you have to kind of reinforce them and stuff like that. But NPI or QCs, and we have stuff like that. It seems like it's a weekly reminder. Overall, I think for the most part, we didn't get a lot of pushback that I recall. Most ones we went over. I mean, we didn't get a lot of pushback. We'd ask for feedback, and a lot of times there wasn't much. And a lot of it was kind of we just actually wrote down the way we've been doing things too. So it wasn't like we rewrote the wheel or reinvented the wheel on these guys or anything. So
that's great. Now, go ahead, Matt.
And all the times I've been involved with policies and so forth is for employees are kind of like kids. If you give them a verbal instruction, they consider it just an opinion. It's optional. But once you put it in writing, they're like, oh crap, this is really something we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
So true. So true. Now, did you involve them in the process of writing into the policies at all? Like you said, you got feedback. Was that you got the did you get the feedback before you finalized it or after you were issuing it? Just I'm curious about how you guys went about that.
Some of them, like when we would when we made the changes and would start re-implementing those changes or reintroducing those changes, we do it in our weekly production meetings, and at that point we would, you know, open it up for discussion. There were a couple where there was some confusion. We had to go back and reword and modify. So that was where most of our feedback came from.
Okay.
Even with the QC one that they're confused with sometimes. It's like, you know, we did make some changes to that one. Okay, you know, if the check engine light's on, drive a certain amount of miles, you know, and we had to make some clarifications, but it's still like, okay, is there something you don't understand? And it's like, no. Well, then what's the problem? Why aren't you following it?
Down is critical, especially if you're dealing with males. You know, when my wife sends me to the grocery store, if she doesn't send me a list, I'll come back with pizza and beer because that's the only thing I remember once I get there.
That's right.
But
Yeah,
she
I
actually
hear
will
ya.
send it now on a text on a phone, and I'll actually get what she wants. I'll still get the pizza and beer, but at least I get her stuff on her list.
Well, you know, it's funny that you mentioned that the need to repeat yourself, because I've always considered, you know, getting employees to follow policies kind of like teaching your kids to brush their teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many times you have to repeat that before they can they'll actually do it on their own?
Yeah.
It's
Did you
kind of
brush
like that,
your-
right?
Yeah, very
So,
much.
all right, so you guys have the new shop coming up and all the excitement of that new game, and it'll certainly keep you from being bored and messing with the guys at your current location, so that's good. Any other future plans you want to let us in on or anything like that?
No.
Well, I
All
haven't
right,
really
fair enough.
thought past that shop yet, but there will be another plan once that one, you know, we don't have to be there. Hopefully not. It won't be, it won't be another shop. I'm gonna say that, but
Okay.
I'm thinking cruises,
Yeah.
motorcycle rides.
Time to
Right on.
enjoy life after that.
Yeah, that sounds like a great plan to me. Now, if you were to give other shops advice based on your experience, what would you tell them?
Listen to drive.
Do your assignments.
Do your assignments.
Oh, I love the way she did that. Whoa.
Reason why you were looking at Brian when you said that, or
Yeah, like
you know,
Yeah, because ask Anna. I have covered his butt so many times. We give him a task to do. Oh, and then we'll meet and she'll be like, "Oh, Brian, remember that policy? Do you have that?" Nope.
I had
So,
stuff going
oh,
on.
I
with-
remember those things. I remember those from when I was coaching you too.
so I let him suffer for a week, and then I'm pretty sure I wrote that policy for him so he didn't get in trouble the next week.
I gotcha.
One thing Drive taught me right off, and I took it to heart, was you employ people to do things you don't like to do. Well, I don't like to do it, so I played her.
Hmm.
Oh,
I thought
like
it
that.
was great.
I like
I
that
finally got my own office. I was all excited. I'm like, I can't wait to get out of that shop and just do owner stuff. Yeah, I can sit here about 10 minutes and I'm right back in the shop. It just doesn't work for me. But
that's totally fine.
when you're successful, you don't have to be. You can do it, but you don't have to do it, and that's the difference.
Absolutely. That's the critical difference is you do what you want to do as opposed to having to do it because there's no other solution.
Sure.
all right.
just for a second, for those watching on Facebook, policies are basically your playbook. They're not, some government thing. It's the beauty of it is when a shop owner doesn't write stuff down, it's all in their mind. And so every week we focus on something different. So the employees are like, wow, they're moving target. The beauty of writing things down is you start to build a foundation where now your employees know how to do something. And the beauty of it is now you do it repetitive over and over. It becomes a normal operation. We don't have to think about it. It's automatic. It's kind of like saying the Pledge of Allegiance, if you remember those days, or you go to church or whatever. The beauty is you do it without having to think about it, so we can focus all our active energy on new stuff. And it just makes things so much more consistent. So I commend you guys for doing that. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another good thing about that apprenticeship, and I mean, I've always felt like I've been a pretty organized person. But I had one folder just full of policies. Who would have ever thought to break it down? Well, so that was another key thing. It's so organized now. I can go to the folder for reception or, service advisor or whatever it is, and find exactly what I'm looking for, rather than like shuffling or trying to remember the name that I named it. And so that was a huge, probably simple, maybe somewhat, should have been in place anyways. But for me, it was a really good thing.
It's broken down electronically that way too.
Yeah, that's great. And
your second shop, I'm sorry, because the key for opening your second shop that owners make a mistake is if you're doing it without policies written, you do it verbally. And so when you get to the second shop, it falls apart because you can't be in two places at once. But now that you have it written down, you can, that's the hard part, is documenting everything. You could theoretically, if Sarah, all of a sudden gets in the mood, open 3, 4, 5, 6, you could own Vermont, for God's sakes. You could be like the shop in Vermont. And then you could live in Florida because you'd have all these shops making you all that money. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
She's sitting there going,
tire
right.
This is what all our Canadian tire stores are doing. They slow season for tires is January through March, and they all camp out in the west coast of Florida.
Right. Well, even Brian, he considered switching to Tech Metric we currently have Mitchell One. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I have to rewrite every single procedure and some policy if we do that. I do not want to do that.
That's funny. But Matt brings up a really great point, is that even if some policies and procedures might change, not only does the fact that you've got them written for your existing operation keep that stable, but also gives you a leg up on setting up that second location, because most of those policies are going to be the same.
For sure.
So that makes it that much easier for you as you move forward. So that's really great. We are coming close to the end of our time. And first of all, I want to thank you for joining us and sharing your success. And it's been great talking to you guys. I actually haven't talked to you in a while, so that's been really nice. And next week is a really special show. We're doing our Halloween show. And for those of you who saw last year's show, you'll know it's a lot of fun. It's kind of, we're going to just be goofing off. So the way it's going to work is we're going to start about an hour later than we normally do, hour and a half later. It's going to be 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to have our special guests, Gretchen Geist and Chris Probst. They'll be joining the show with us, and they'll also be judging our Drive staff Halloween costumes, because we have a tradition here at Drive where we do a Halloween costume contest, and since we're all remote, we moved the judging of that to Facebook Live. So we'll be joined by, I don't know, about half a dozen of our colleagues here at Drive, all of us in costume, and or some of us, I guess most of us. And ultimately, it's going to be our viewers that decide the winners. So tune in and vote for your favorite costume, and let's just have a good time next week. So thanks again, Brian and Sarah. Matt, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
It's good to see
And
y'all.
everybody have a great week, and we'll see you on for the Halloween show.
Thank you.
Thank you.